Life has a unique way of testing us. It doesn't always give rewards right away. Sometimes you plant the seed and for a long while, nothing happens. You water the soil, you give it sunlight, you give it time, and still silence. But that doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means the roots are growing. It means strength is forming beneath the surface. See, success doesn't always show up with a loud knock at the door. Sometimes it slips in quietly, after years of preparation. But if you lose hope, if you give up before your season arrives, you never get to see what you were meant to become. Your time will come, but not just because you waited. Your time will come because you worked while you waited. Because you learned while others complained. Because you stayed faithful when it felt like nothing was moving. That's the price of greatness. Hope is not a weak thing. Hope is fuel. It's what keeps you showing up after failure. It's what keeps you believing after rejection, and it's what whispers, "Not yet." When everything around you screams, "Never," there's a time to prepare, a time to fight, a time to grow quietly, and yes, there is a time to shine. But you don't get the last without the first three. So when life feels slow, when you feel overlooked, remember, diamonds form under pressure, oaks grow slowly, and real success never rushes the process. You are not late. You are not behind. You are just in training. The people who make it, they weren't the lucky ones. They were the ones who stayed ready. So when the door opened, they walked through it. When the opportunity came, they were prepared for it. And when their time came, they didn't hesitate. Your time will come. So don't count the days. Make the days count. Keep growing. Keep learning. Keep hoping. Because the world doesn't need more people who quit too early. It needs more people who rise when it's hard and believe even when it's quiet. Your moment is coming. So stay in motion. Stay in faith. And never lose hope. Progress often happens underground before it becomes visible. Just because you can't see results right away doesn't mean nothing is happening. Think about the seed planted in the soil. You don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust the process. You water it. You wait. And you believe that in time, something will break through the surface. Growth begins in the dark, where no one claps for you, where no one notices your effort, where you show up over and over, with no spotlight and no praise. That's where strength is built. That's where character is shaped. We live in a world that celebrates quick wins and instant results. But real progress doesn't usually work that way. It's quiet, it's slow, it's steady, and often it's lonely. But that doesn't make it any less valuable. In fact, it makes it more powerful. Because when your moment finally arrives, when the results start to show, people will see the breakthrough. But they'll never fully understand the foundation you laid to get there. They won't see the nights you kept going when it would have been easier to quit. They won't feel the self-doubt you battled through in silence. They won't know how many failures you turned into lessons. They'll only see the surface, but you will know what it took beneath it. And that's what makes it meaningful. Progress isn't always loud. Sometimes it looks like showing up to train when no one's watching. Sometimes it's choosing discipline over comfort. Sometimes it's reading, learning, refining, while the world is scrolling and sleeping. You can't measure growth only by what's visible. Some of your most important victories will happen internally. When you break a bad habit, when you silence negative self-talk, when you make the tough choice to keep going, one more day, that's real progress, invisible but undeniable, and eventually it begins to show. Not all at once, but piece by piece, like a sprout pushing through the dirt, like a light cracking through the clouds. That's how success reveals itself, after seasons of silent progress. So if you're in that phase now, don't be discouraged. Don't judge your journey by the applause you get or the results you can count. Judge it by your consistency, by your effort, by your refusal to give up. Because while others are watching for the bloom, you're building the roots. And roots matter more than flowers. Roots hold you steady when storms come. Roots keep you grounded when pressure hits. Roots are what make the growth last, so keep showing up, even when no one sees. Even when it feels like nothing's moving, because progress often happens underground, long before the world can see the evidence. Your time will come not because you waited, but because you worked while you waited. Waiting alone doesn't change anything. Time passing isn't what makes dreams come true. It's what you do while you wait that makes all the difference. Too many people are sitting still, hoping life will just turn in their favor. But hope without action is just a wish. Real hope moves, real belief builds, while others sit back waiting for the perfect moment. The committed are preparing, they're training, they're learning, they're sharpening their tools in the quiet. Because they understand something most don't. Opportunity doesn't just appear. It shows up when you're ready, and readiness is built in the waiting. See, your time will come, but not just because you wanted it to. It will come because you used the delay as preparation, because you turned the silence into focus, because you used the stillness to master your craft. People who make it to the top aren't just the ones who had patience. They're the ones who combined patience with effort. They didn't just count the days. They made the days count. They didn't just dream. They moved toward it, even when it felt like no one was watching, even when results were slow, even when the doors stayed closed. They understood that waiting is not passive. It's an active season of growth, a time to build, a time to develop strength, a time to become the person capable of holding the success that's on the way. And the truth is, if you're not growing while you wait, you won't be ready when it's time. The opportunity you hope for won't last if you haven't prepared for it. That's why doing the work now matters so much. Because one day your moment will come. One day the right door will open. One day your name will be called. And when that happens, you won't need to scramble. You won't need to catch up. You'll be ready. Not because of chance, but because of choice. Because you chose to stay in motion. Because you trained in the shadows. Because you didn't let delay become discouragement. You used it to become better. Faster, wiser, more prepared. And that's the real secret. The reward is never in the waiting. The reward is in the asterisk working while you wait asterisk. So don't wait passively. Wait with purpose. Wait with discipline. Wait with commitment to the process, because your time will come. But when it does, let it find you working. Let it find you ready. Let it find you already becoming what you were born to be. Hope is not passive. It's an active fuel that sustains perseverance. It's not about sitting back and wishing for things to get better. It's not about crossing your fingers and waiting for a lucky break. Real hope doesn't just wait. It works. It moves forward. It takes the next step, even when the path ahead is unclear. Hope wakes you up in the morning with purpose. It whispers, keep going, when everything in you wants to stop. It gives you the strength to face another day, another challenge, another rejection. Hope isn't soft. It's not some fragile feeling that breaks at the first sign of trouble. It's solid. It's steady. It stands firm when storms come. Because true hope isn't just about what you feel, it's about what you do. It shows up in your habits, in your decisions, in your refusal to quit. Hope doesn't eliminate the struggle. It gives you the energy to walk through it, to endure the hard days, to outlast the setbacks, to believe that what you're working for still matters, even when no one else sees it. It's easy to have hope when everything's going your way, but the kind of hope that sustains perseverance, that kind shows up when the progress is slow, when the answers don't come quickly, when doors close and people walk away. That's when real hope takes over. It turns pain into power, delay into discipline. It helps you keep showing up, keep believing, and keep becoming. Because you're not just hoping for comfort. You're hoping for change. You're not hoping for ease. You're hoping for growth, and growth takes grit. It takes showing up again and again, not because it's easy, but because you believe it's worth it. That's what hope does. It reminds you why you started. It fuels your fight. It lifts your eyes higher when everything around you is pulling you down. Hope is action in disguise. It doesn't sit on the sidelines. It trains, it studies, it improves. It steps out again after every fall, trusting that this time might be different. Hope isn't the absence of fear. It's the courage to move forward in spite of it. It's not a feeling you wait for. It's a choice you make. And the more you act on it, the stronger it becomes. So when you feel tired, remember why you started. When the road gets heavy, let hope remind you what's at the end of it. Let it drive your decisions. Let it shape your habits. Let it keep you grounded, focused, and in motion. Because when everything around you says stop, hope says, not yet. Not until you've given all you've got. Not until you've finished what you started. Not until the vision inside you becomes the life in front of you. Hope doesn't promise ease, it promises endurance. And with endurance comes progress. And with progress comes change. So don't underestimate hope. It's not passive, it's powerful. It's what keeps you in the fight, long after the feeling fades. Setbacks are part of the preparation, not signs to quit. They're not roadblocks meant to stop you. They're lessons meant to shape you. Every great journey includes moments that test your strength, your patience, and your belief. It's easy to think that failure means you're doing something wrong, but often, failure just means you're on the right path, and you're being refined. The mountain isn't climbed in one smooth motion. There are slips, there are stumbles, there are days when progress feels invisible, but that doesn't mean it's time to give up. It means it's time to learn, to adjust, to dig deeper. Setbacks don't destroy your potential. They reveal it. They uncover what you're made of. They test whether your commitment was based on convenience or conviction. Anyone can move forward when it's easy. But true growth happens when you keep moving forward after you've been knocked down. The world doesn't just reward effort. It rewards resilience. Setbacks prepare you in ways success never could. They teach humility. They build patience. They develop grit. They force you to find strength you didn't know you had. And in those hard moments, when everything in you wants to walk away, that's when something deeper is built. Not just skill, but character, not just progress, but perseverance. The setback is not the end of the story. It's a chapter, and chapters don't define the whole book. They add depth. They add weight. They make the victory more meaningful when it finally comes. Look back at any success story, and you'll find disappointment. You'll find rejection. You'll find moments where they thought about quitting, but didn't. And that's what made all the difference. You don't grow by avoiding setbacks. You grow by responding to them with wisdom and courage. You look at the situation and ask, what is this trying to teach me? What can I do differently? How can I become better because of this? That's the mindset of a champion. That's how people rise, by facing hard moments and choosing not to retreat. The pain is real, the frustration is real, but so is the purpose behind it. You're being stretched so you can handle more. You're being challenged so you can grow stronger. You're being delayed so you can be developed. Don't let a setback convince you that you're not meant for this. Let it remind you that the path to something great is rarely smooth. What you're facing now might feel like the end, but it could be the exact moment that shapes your breakthrough. The moment that teaches you what comfort never could. The moment that builds something in you that success alone never will. So don't curse the setback. Don't fear it. Face it. Use it. Let it refine you. Let it prepare you. Because on the other side of the pain is a version of you that's stronger, wiser, and more ready than ever. Setbacks aren't signs to quit. They're signals to grow. Success favors the prepared, not the lucky. Luck might open the door, but preparation is what lets you walk through it with confidence. Too many people wait for the perfect opportunity, hoping it will change everything. But opportunity means nothing if you're not ready for it. Success isn't about being at the right place at the right time. It's about being the right person when the time comes. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your preparation. If you haven't trained for the moment will overwhelm you. That's why preparation matters. That's why the work behind the scenes matters. The hours no one applauds. The effort no one sees. The commitment you keep when no one's watching. That's what builds the foundation for real success. It's easy to admire those who make it big, but what you don't see is everything they did before the world noticed. The sacrifices, the failures, the long seasons of learning and building. Luck might bring a spark, but it's preparation that turns it into fire. Think about an athlete. They don't train just for the game they know is coming. They train for the game they might get called into. They stay ready always. So when the whistle blows, they don't hesitate. They execute. And it's the same in life. If you're not working toward your goals now, you won't be ready when the opportunity finally appears. That big chance you're dreaming of, it won't wait for you to get ready. It'll come and go in an instant. The question is, will you be ready when it shows up, or will you look back and wish you had done more? Preparation isn't glamorous. It's slow, it's disciplined, it's often thankless. But it's also where winners are made. Because when pressure hits, the prepared don't panic. They perform. They've already put in the reps. They've already walked through the failure. They've already built the mindset. So when the moment arrives, they don't shrink. They rise. Success is earned in advance, in the dark, in the quiet, in the moments you choose growth over comfort. Every page you read, every morning you show up early, every time you push past excuses, that's preparation, and every bit of it matters. You don't always see results right away, but you're becoming someone who's ready for more. And that matters more than luck ever could, because luck can come and go, but preparation stays. Preparation puts you in control. You're not waiting for a break, you're building toward it. And when it comes, you won't need to scramble. You'll be ready to step in, ready to deliver, ready to own the moment, because success doesn't just show up. It's attracted to those who are ready for it. So stay in the process. Stay committed to the unseen work. Because when your moment comes, you won't need luck. You'll have something better. You'll have preparation. Growth requires patience, discipline, and endurance. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't come from one good decision or one burst of motivation. Real growth is slow. It's steady. It's built through quiet choices, repeated daily, often with no immediate reward. It's staying committed when progress feels invisible. It's waking up to the same routine, the same grind, and choosing to keep going. Because you know deep down what you're building matters, patience teaches you to trust the process. It helps you understand that time is not your enemy. Time is your partner. It gives space for roots to grow deep, for habits to take hold, for change to become permanent. Without patience, you'll abandon the work too early. You'll give up just before the breakthrough. You'll chase quick fixes instead of lasting results. Discipline is what keeps you moving, not because you always feel like it, but because you've decided it matters. Discipline is doing the work when the feeling is gone. It's choosing structure over chaos. It's holding yourself to a higher standard, not because someone's watching, but because you're aiming for more. Growth doesn't come from doing what's easy. It comes from choosing what's right, especially when it's hard. Endurance is what carries you through the tough seasons. It's what helps you hold on when everything tells you to let go. When the journey stretches longer than expected, when the obstacles are heavier than planned, when the progress is slower than hoped, endurance says, keep going, not because it's comfortable, but because it's worth it. Growth isn't about speed, it's about consistency. It's about stacking small wins day after day, knowing that they add up to something bigger. It's not always exciting. It's not always inspiring. Sometimes it's boring. Sometimes it's frustrating. but that doesn't mean it's not working. Just because it's not dramatic doesn't mean it's not powerful. The strongest people you know, they didn't become that way overnight. They became that way by showing up again and again, by choosing patience over panic, discipline over distraction, endurance over escape, and now it's your turn to stay in it, your turn to keep planting even when the ground looks dry. Your turn to believe in the process even when the results are delayed. Because growth isn't just about what you gain. It's about who you become in the process. The strength you didn't know you had. The focus you didn't think you could maintain. The wisdom that comes only through experience, and none of it happens without patience. None of it sticks without discipline. None of it lasts without endurance. So wherever you are in the journey, don't rush it. Respect the process. Stay grounded in your habits. Stay faithful in the small things, because one day you'll look back and realize the days that felt slow, the days that tested you the most, those were the days that shaped you. Growth doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for persistence. So keep going, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. The timing of success is not always in your control, but your preparation always is. You can't control when the opportunity comes. You can't predict when the breakthrough will happen. You can't force the perfect moment to arrive. But what you can control is who you are when it does. You can decide to be ready. You can choose to prepare even when there's no guarantee. You can work like your moment is coming, even if you don't know when, because success doesn't knock on your door with a warning. It shows up when you least expect it. And if you're not ready, it passes you by. Too many people wait for their chance, but do nothing to prepare for it. They sit and wish, while others train and build. The difference isn't luck, it's mindset. It's understanding that readiness isn't something you wait for. It's something you create. The world doesn't owe you perfect timing. It won't pause until you feel confident. That's why preparation is everything. It's the only thing fully in your hands. You can't control how fast the door opens, but you can make sure you're ready to walk through it when it does. You can sharpen your skills. You can develop your discipline. You can build the habits that support long-term success. And you can do it quietly, day by day, without applause, without external validation. Because the most powerful preparation happens in private. Behind the scenes, before the world is watching, that's where real success is built. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. That's where you form the version of you that's ready for more, ready for pressure, ready for leadership, ready for the weight of the reward. Timing is a mystery, you can't rush it. You can't predict it, but you can meet it prepared. And when that moment finally arrives, you won't need to scramble. You won't panic. You'll step into it with clarity, with strength, and with purpose, because you did the work long before it showed up. That's the difference between those who make it and those who miss it. Not talent, not luck, but preparation. So don't get caught up in the waiting. Don't let the unknown steal your focus. Use this time. Use it to grow. Use it to refine your vision. Use it to build something solid. So when the moment comes, you're not surprised. You're ready, because preparation doesn't guarantee timing, but it guarantees that when timing aligns, you won't have to hesitate. You'll act. You'll move. You'll rise to the occasion. Not because it was easy, but because you were prepared. The timing of success may not be in your control, but the kind of person you become while you wait, that's entirely up to you. Even in silence and stillness, inner strength is being developed. You may not see it. You may not feel it. But something is happening inside you, in the quiet seasons, in the days when nothing seems to move forward, in the moments where it feels like you've been forgotten. That's where something deeper is forming. Growth isn't always loud. Strength isn't always visible. Progress isn't always marked by motion. Sometimes it happens beneath the surface. Sometimes it happens in the stillness. when you sit with your thoughts. When you wrestle with your fears, when you face the silence and don't run from it, that's where inner strength is built, not by avoiding difficulty, but by enduring it, not by always knowing what's next, but by standing firm when you don't. The world teaches us to rush, to move, to chase results constantly. But there is power in stillness. There is growth in patience. There is strength being formed when you choose to stay grounded in a season that feels uncertain. You're not wasting time just because you're not busy. You're not falling behind just because life is quiet. This might be the exact season where your foundation is being reinforced, where your mind is being sharpened, where your heart is learning resilience. Stillness is not weakness. Silence is not failure. Sometimes they're necessary. They strip away distractions. They bring clarity. They create space for reflection and refinement. And in that space, you start to hear your own voice more clearly. You begin to understand what really matters. You let go of what no longer serves you, and you start to rebuild from the inside out. That's strength. That's growth. That's the kind of development no one else may notice. But you'll feel it. You'll feel it when the next challenge comes and you don't crumble. You'll feel it when pressure hits and you stay calm. You'll feel it when you realize you've become more grounded, more focused, more secure. Even when you don't have all the answers, even when the path ahead isn't clear, you've built something inside yourself that doesn't shake so easily anymore. That's what stillness gives you. It doesn't show results right away. It doesn't reward you with applause, but it prepares you in a way no fast-paced victory ever could. Because what's built in silence is often what sustains you when life gets loud again. So if you're in a quiet season, don't fight it. Lean into it, use it, grow within it. Let it teach you what movement can't. Let it deepen your roots. Let it shape the strength that can't be shaken by noise, by speed, or by pressure. Even in silence and stillness, something powerful is happening. You may not see the change yet, but it's real, and when the time comes, you'll move forward not just with hope, but with strength that was born in the quiet. Your time will come when you are ready, and readiness is a daily choice. It doesn't happen all at once. It's not a switch you flip the moment opportunity appears. Readiness is built day by day. It's built in the small decisions, in the habits you form, in the discipline you practice when no one's watching. Your future success isn't waiting for a lucky break. It's waiting for you to become the person who can handle it. And that becoming, it's in your hands. Every day, you choose who you're becoming. Every day, you either step closer to readiness or further away from it. It's not about perfection. It's not about never making mistakes. It's about showing up anyway. It's about choosing progress over comfort. It's about doing what matters, even when it doesn't feel exciting. Readiness is built in the early mornings when you could have slept in the extra effort you give when you could have quit, in the focus you maintain when distraction comes knocking. You prepare not because the opportunity is here now, but because you know it's coming. And when it does, you won't have to wish you had done more. You'll know you're ready. That kind of readiness doesn't show up overnight. It grows slowly, quietly, in the background of ordinary days. But one day, those days add up. One day, the preparation becomes obvious. One day, the door opens, and you don't hesitate. You don't question. You step forward, not with fear, but with confidence, because you've already lived the discipline. You've already paid the price in advance, and that's what makes the difference. The world sees the moment you shine, but you know what it took to be ready for that moment. You know how many times you showed up when no one was clapping. How many times you kept going when it felt like nothing was working. How many times you chose growth over ease. That's where readiness lives, in the effort no one sees, in the consistency no one celebrates. But your time will come, and when it does, the work you've done in the shadows will speak for you. So don't wait to be ready. Decide to be ready. Make that choice every single day. Choose to prepare. Choose to improve. Choose to stay the course even when the reward feels far away. Because preparation is never wasted. Every rep counts, every lesson matters, every choice shapes you, and one day you'll look back and realize it wasn't one big moment that changed your life. It was hundreds of small moments. It was the days you didn't quit, the mornings you trained, the nights you studied. That's what made you ready, and that's what brought your time. The world rewards those who stay in motion, stay in faith, and never lose hope. Not because their path is perfect, not because they never struggle, but because they don't stop. They keep moving forward even when it's hard, even when progress is slow, even when it feels like nothing is working. They refuse to let fear freeze them. They refuse to let doubt define them. They understand that motion creates momentum, that staying in motion, no matter how small the steps, keeps them alive inside. Because the moment you stop, everything gets heavier, the doubts grow louder, the obstacles seem bigger. But if you keep moving, you stay connected to your purpose. You stay engaged with your growth. You stay open to what's possible, and it's not just about motion. It's about faith. Faith that things can get better. Faith that your effort means something. Faith that what you're working toward is still ahead of you, not behind you. Faith doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's just taking the next step with no guarantee, no map, no applause. But you take it anyway, because deep down you believe. You believe that your story isn't over. You believe that there's more in you to give. You believe that this chapter is preparing you for something greater. And when you combine that motion with that kind of faith, something powerful happens. You begin to rise even in the midst of difficulty. You begin to grow even in the middle of pain. You begin to see light even while walking through darkness. That's the power of motion. That's the strength of faith. But there's one more ingredient, hope. Hope is the fuel that keeps you going when everything in you wants to quit. It's the voice that says, hold on, when everything else says, let go. It's what reminds you that your future isn't written yet, that you still have choices, that you still have power, that you still have time. The world doesn't reward perfection. It rewards perseverance. It rewards those who keep showing up, who keep building, who keep believing, not just once, but over and over again, every day, in the face of silence, in the face of rejection, in the face of delay, because eventually the tide turns. Eventually, the effort compounds. Eventually, the breakthrough comes, and when it does, the world will call you lucky. They'll say it came out of nowhere, but you'll know the truth. It came because you never stopped, because you kept moving, because you held on to faith when there was no evidence, because you chose hope instead of despair. That's what the world truly rewards, not the quickest, not the flashiest, but the most faithful, the ones who stay in motion. The ones who stay in belief, the ones who never let go of hope. So wherever you are in your journey, keep moving, keep the faith alive even when the road feels long. Hold on to hope, especially when the world gives you reasons not to. Because the reward isn't just at the finish line. It's in who you become on the way there. And if you keep showing up, if you keep believing, one day you'll look back and realize it was never about luck. It was always about your courage to keep going. Your time is coming, so don't stop now.